Stop.
You gotta understand.
Yeah, that was so
you gotta
dramatic.
understand.
It's not making sense. Look,
Cooley, y'all gotta understand, bro. Y'all see, it's crazy. This is emotional intelligence. This is real
Uso
emotional
could come out on
intelligence.
SmackDown tonight and rejoin the bloodline. Won't make
he
no kind of
want
sense at all. And Sylvan will still be like, "Oh, y'all just don't get it. It's just cinema because this is why."
See, y'all don't understand.
Bro,
y'all don't understand the pain.
Sense,
y'all ain't got no real empathy. Y'all ain't got no real empathy. But it's fine. I've been right all along, anyways. So we just gonna see what happens in the next 6 months, and we gonna come back and be like, "Yo, Sylvan called it like usual."
Peace. Thank you for watching Wrestling with the Homies. We appreciate you for doing that. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Your world is always yours. Remember that.
Yo, we're back with another episode of your favorite podcast, Wrestling with the Homies. I'm the homie Qwan, and as always, I'm joined by my good boys, Jay Cooley.
Peace, God.
This man said, peace, God. Okay,
what's today's knowledge, man?
And also, y'all know, my boy, Sylvan LeCue.
It's going down. We are the nation.
Oh, we throwing a nation fist this week?
Let's get it.
Might as well.
I got the
What's
black
up with
on
y'all,
too.
man? How y'all feeling about this week of wrestling, man? It's a whole lot of CM Punk nonsense going on.
A whole lot of Punk going on.
Brother.
Summer of Punk.
CM Punk is out here moving like Whack 100. Like, what's going on?
Look, Whack 100.
And I know y'all never thought y'all would hear Whack 100 name dropped on a wrestling podcast, but that's what we do, baby. We here to marry these two worlds. Whack 100, baby. CM Punk is Whack 100. But before we get into CM Punk, let's talk about a little bit of Bloodline. Just a little bit, because I know I was on that let it play out thing last week, but I don't know how I'm feeling about Jimmy's explanation being that he loved Jay.
Come on, bro. Come on, man.
Like, you want to sit here and tell me that made sense?
Yep.
I pulled you out of the ring and kicked you in the head because I love you.
I love you.
Facts.
Come on now. Like, that makes sense to you?
That's his big brother. Sometimes you got to beat your little brother ass.
I ain't gonna super kick my baby brother. Like, God damn.
Like, if he
you might do it to save his life.
Nah, my brother. If he loved him, he could have just pulled him out the ring. You have to kick him in the head. It didn't make no kind of sense.
Well, how else was he gonna lose?
I don't know. You have to kick him though. Like what? But yo, we'll get into more of that in the rundown because I'm sure Cooley got something on that. But
a whole lot of it.
Let's really unpack this CM Punk situation, guys. So CM Punk, my God, Chicago made Phil. CM Punk set the wrestling world on fire this week.
Again.
Now, before I pass the rock off to y'all, I just want to unpack this a little bit myself. So, this prior Saturday, after Collision went off air, CM Punk decided to go down to the ring and reignite his real-life beef with Hangman Page. CM Punk got on the mic, and he called Hangman Page a peg warmer. Now, first off, pause that peg warmer, because that sounds insane.
It's crazy.
But he called Hangman Page a peg warmer, said he was in a local supermarket earlier in the day, and he went to the toy aisle, and the pegs were full of Hangman Page toys, which means nobody's buying Hangman Page toys. Now, obviously, fans were upset about this. Backstage, they were all upset about this. But y'all know the deal. Y'all know when it comes to CM Punk, it's not always one story. It's always four more that follows it. So the following day, we find out that Adam Hangman Page wasn't the only one on CM Punk's hit list. Ryan Nemeth, who's the real-life brother of Dolph Ziggler, shout out to Dolph. Ryan Nemeth, who had tweeted some spiciness towards CM Punk in the past, was scheduled for last week's Collision. And when he arrived backstage, CM Punk ran down on him, grabbed him up by his collar, and said, "Yo, hit the bricks, beat it." Now, I don't know if he actually grabbed him up by his collar. Like, that's just me adding my spice onto it. But Ryan Nemeth definitely got kicked out of the locker room by CM Punk. But, of course, that's not the only thing, because in the following day, we find out that CM Punk also had Christopher Daniels and Matt Hardy escorted out of recent Collision tapings. And we also find out that CM Punk, the main culprit, CM Punk, had a verbal dispute backstage with Jack Perry. Now, I understand why everybody's upset about this, because this is a very important time in AEW's history. They're about to have the biggest pay-per-view in the history of the company. This is a 5-year-old company. They're about to have 80,000 people in one arena to watch the show. That's insane, right?
They beat WrestleMania 3, man.
Right. They beat WrestleMania 3. So I understand why people are upset that CM Punk's backstage nonsense is dominating the airwaves and the media and taking away from their big moment. This is insane, right? Like, why would CM Punk do something like this? Why would he do this? Well, if you think that this is insane, then you pretty much have not been paying attention for the last decade. This is what CM Punk does. This is what he does. Did y'all forget about All Out 2022? Remember when MJF made his triumphant return and the wrestling world was talking about that? Oh, you don't? You don't remember when MJF returned? It's because CM Punk did the same thing then. He overshadowed MJF's 1-year absence with his media scrum. He went in there. He turned into Charleston White. He got at the Young Bucks. He got at Hangman Page. He got at Kenny Omega. He might have threw some strays at us. I don't know. He was going crazy. Stepped on the entire rollout of MJF's return. Now, look, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If you thought this CM Punk return to AEW was going to go any other way, then don't be mad at CM Punk. Be mad at yourself because you clearly have not been paying attention. I'm not going to make a trade for Kawhi Leonard and expect him not to load manage. Now, obviously, Kawhi Leonard is an incredible player. He might give you 40 points. He might lock down the other team's best player. He might even win you a championship. But he going to load manage. When you get into the CM Punk business, you got to understand that locker room drama is what comes with it. Like I said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If you touch a hot stove, burn your hand, I feel bad for you. You touch that stove again, I'm going to start questioning your mental, but I'm going to still shoot you some bail because I'm like, maybe you just didn't learn this lesson. You touch that stove a third time, and I'm just going to assume that you like to get burned. This is what CM Punk does, and I'm not saying CM Punk is a bad person. I think he might be a really good guy, and he's justified in a lot of what he does. But you got to understand, when you get into the CM Punk business, this is what comes with it. Locker room drama is a part of CM Punk's history. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Now, with that said, let's unpack this. How do y'all feel about this CM Punk situation? Sylvan, I'll start with you.
I mean, you know how I feel, man. Of course, this is CM Punk, man. CM Punk is going to do what CM Punk does. And I think CM Punk is very great at standing. You know what? You know who CM Punk is? CM Punk is the Kanye West of wrestling.
Wait, what? Whoa. You got to explain that.
CM Punk is the Kanye West of wrestling. Now, we all love Kanye, just like we all love CM Punk. We all know that Kanye West revolutionized a certain style of rap and brought it into the forefront. He stood for the guy that, you know, dressed a certain way that maybe, you know, back in 2003, 2004, you didn't necessarily agree with, but it was what it was. And he managed to bring two worlds together and revolutionize how rap music was heard and treated ever since. CM Punk is the same way. These guys essentially have the same thought process to me. They say what they feel. They stand up for what they believe in. And whether you like them or whether you love them or whether you hate them, you can't deny the fact that they are as honest as they possibly can be. With that being said, do you want to do business with Kanye West all the time? I don't know. I mean, this guy sells a lot of product. He's really popular. But you never know what he's going to say. That's going to put you in a space where you got to start deciding, am I going to get some type of lawsuit? Do I got to check in on my homies? You know what I mean? Do I have to mend some relationships? It's the same thing with CM Punk. You never know what this guy is going to do. You never know what's going to happen with him. You never know what he's going to say that's just going to tip you off and be like, yo, what? However, I will say this is very convenient that all of these reports are starting to come out after the lowest ratings of AEW collision. I'm just saying, it's a little convenient. I don't know. It's a little convenient that
Are you saying he's trolling to get views, or like what do you mean by that?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's very convenient that these stories start leaking out. These happenings start happening as soon as AEW suffers their worst ratings on AEW Collision in history, which is, 4 or 5 weeks. But still, it's a little convenient, but it's not so far left out of the blue to where I'm like, well, this doesn't sound like CM Punk. This sounds like CM Punk. This sounds like things that CM Punk would do, especially considering the fact that we've been hearing that he has a lot more weight at AEW Collision because they created a whole show for this guy. So if you create a whole show for this guy, I would run up what you look, man. I don't know if I'm really that good with power. Like if I got a problem with you and I'm running the show,
that's what I'm saying.
You pull up to my show, I might be liable to like
down on you.
I might run down on you. I might be like, yo, what's up, partner? You think you just gonna get into my show, beat it, and kick rocks? I run it here. I'm the champion. It's my show. But what are you gonna do,
man? And it's funny. It's funny that you make the Kanye West comparison because CM Punk and Kanye West are both from Chicago. Maybe this is what Chicago breeds. Like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe CM Punk gonna slide for Vaughn.
Oh man,
Cooley, you gotta unpack.
No, man.
How you feeling about this?
Listen, man. Let's go to the stars. Let's go to the stars real second. I believe CM Punk is a Scorpio. He's either a Scorpio or a Libra.
He's a Scorpio.
Is he a Scorpio?
My guy moving like Drake, man. Let's keep it a beanstalk. He's moving like Drake. He's doing what he wants, and he's very emotional. This is nothing new. We've been seeing this countless of time. I'm not surprised. So nobody else should be surprised about this. He's a lunatic. I feel like Tony is. You said what?
Oh, I was just gonna say. No, go ahead. Continue. My bad. I don't want to step on your point. I'm saying. Continue, my brother.
Punk is a lunatic, man. Punk is a lunatic. You feel me? He be off a couple pills, man, backstage. I feel like Tony is baiting him.
He be right though. He be right sometimes.
He's giving him the bait.
You don't think so? You don't think CM Punk be right in a lot of his feelings though? Because let's maybe look at it. The argument he got into with Jack Perry was apparently because Jack Perry wanted to do a backstage spot with real glass. And CM Punk was like, "Nah, we're not doing that. Like,
that's different.
Why are you trying to use real glass? Like, we go do that on Dynamite. We don't do that over here. So, like, I understand. I ain't mad at him for that.
Well, man, he looking kind of crazy right now. Like, I don't know. He remind me of Big Red from 5 Heartbeats right now because his offers hours are from 9 to 5. That's what he looking like right now, man.
CM Punk to me, CM Punk to me is he's Russell Westbrook. He's Russell Westbrook because you know what comes along with Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell Westbrook is one of the greatest players of all time, triple-double machine. He might give you a 40-point triple-double and carry you on his back.
Facts.
But he's also going to take ill-advised 3-point shots with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. He's also going to turn the ball over 9 times a game. Like, that comes with it. So you can't sign Russell Westbrook and then be surprised or upset when he's turning the ball over because you have an entire 20-year sample size that shows you this is what he does.
Do y'all think it's a ruse though? Because I know he's been tempting to go heel. Do you think this is just a way to start some stuff backstage?
I don't know.
I'm just asking. It wouldn't be the first time.
We've seen this a lot, so I just feel like this is just him. Like, he don't need anything to turn heel. He can do whatever he wants and then turn heel.
But that's what I mean, though, like, because we are expecting it,
it's legit.
Yeah,
it's legit.
It is legit.
Because there would be no reason for him to do this backstage if it's not playing out on TV. Like, if he's not going to feud with Adam Hangman Page on TV, then building towards it backstage with like politics, it does not benefit the company at all. It just makes them look makes them look amateur. So there's no way this is a work. This is definitely real. This is just who CM Punk is, man.
I thought he squashed this with Hangman, by the way. I thought
he did too.
Like, I thought it was all like everything was behind everyone. Like, where did that come from?
Hey, I mean, but like you said earlier, Kanye West has that bipolarism or something. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. How many times have we seen Kanye West dead the Drake beef and then diss Drake like 2 weeks later?
Facts.
This is what the Chicago boys be on, I guess.
You know when Kanye is smiling around the corner, and then as soon as he hit that corner into paparazzi, he's like, he give you the Kawhi face. It's just like that.
That's what CM Punk is. But like I said, CM Punk is definitely justified in a lot of these situations. Like, for instance, getting Christopher Daniels escorted from backstage. Like, it's foul because we love Christopher Daniels, but he's just standing up for his boy Ace Steel. If Ace Steel is the lead producer on Collision and Ace Steel's not allowed in the building because of the fight that happened at All Out,
facts.
Then, like, why am I gonna let Christopher Daniels, who's the producer from Dynamite, be backstage at Collision? Like, if my mans can't be here, you can't be here either. So, I'm not saying CM Punk is a bad guy. He stands up for what he believes in. It's just he got to go about it a different way because it makes the company look bad. We're a week and a half removed, or a week and a half away from the biggest pay-per-view that they've ever done in history. And nobody's really talking about it because we're all talking about CM Punk backstage drama. It's bad. It's bad.
It is bad, but now that you break a lot of these scenarios down, it's like, is it just really bad because CM Punk is bad and we just have to talk about it because this is just what CM Punk does? In a lot of ways, I'm like, well, why isn't this stuff that we can just kind of act like isn't really a big deal? Like, why is it a big deal? Is it just because CM Punk does this?
Of course. Like, anything, right. CM Punk is the biggest star in that company. So anything he does is going to make the airwaves no matter what. So it's like when he's having backstage drama for the 30th time, of course he's going to overshadow whatever else they're doing because CM Punk is CM Punk. Like we not talking about Darby Allin here. And shout out to Darby Allin because he's a tremendous – I love Darby Allin. But we're not talking about Darby Allin or somebody of that caliber. This is CM Punk. This is a dude who's main evented WrestleManias and SummerSlams. So it's like anything he does is going to hit the news.
Yeah, you're not lying.
He pretty much protecting his turf at the end of the day.
I respect that. But it's like, bro, you still the big. It's like Qwan say, you the biggest wrestler in that company. So I get what you have to do to stand up for what you believe in, but at a certain point, it comes at the sake of the company's well-being, because you do have the biggest pay-per-view or PPL. I don't know even what they know. I don't even know what they call it.
Nah, they're pay-per-view because they charge for these joints.
So boom.
This ain't WWE. They charge for this like a clean $60 for this. So
facts. So you got your biggest pay-per-view coming up, and we're not talking about it. And a lot of people are calling it, the card, but let's just call it a beam. We're not talking about it because we all talking about CM Punk.
Right.
Facts. It just is what it is.
And just to wrap up this CM Punk conversation, I will say this. If any of this starts to make it to TV, I will come on this podcast and walk back everything I said. Because if CM Punk and Adam Hangman Page get into like a rivalry on TV, then all of this backstage BS was worth it.
Yeah, facts.
Facts. Right. But until we get to that moment, I'm just here to say, look, if you're a fan and you expected this AEW run to go any differently, you played yourself. Don't be mad at him. Be mad at yourself for thinking that this would go any differently. If your girl cheats on you and you get back with her and she cheats on you again, that's your fault. You should have learned your lesson the first time, my brother.
Damn, man, that happened to me, man. Now you got me in my feelings, bro.
No.
It's cold.
Come on, cold part is we know exactly who we talking about.
I was young,
the cold
man.
part, but we ain't about to say
no
names.
We ain't even got to go back there,
Woo!
man. That don't even exist anymore.
I got in my feelings, y'all. My bad, y'all. Hey, shout out Chicago made Punk, man. He's a Starks. He's just protecting the North. You feel me? Game of Thrones.
Right. All right. Well, listen, Sylvan, in our illustrious group chat, greatest group chat of all time, by the way. It's everything from Navy veterans to people with Grammys. Like our group
12
chat
years
is,
now.
Man, group chat gang. But in our group chat, you've alluded to some issues with the boy Tony. You want to get that off your chest?
Look, man. Yes, I do. In fact, I was going to write about this. Being a new journalist, I was going to write about this. I was going to make some points. I was going to try to create the narrative that I wanted to create. But, I'm just going to speak from my heart because I have a real issue with Tony Khan. Everybody always comes to me and says, yo, why you always got a problem with AEW? I don't have a problem with AEW. I like AEW. I love WWE. It's a difference. I enjoy AEW's product, but I have an affinity for WWE. My main problem, though, it's not even with AEW. It's not really with AEW. It's never been with AEW. My problem has always been with Tony Khan. Tony Khan has let the wrestlers run the asylum from day one. You know what Tony Khan is? Tony Khan is a kid in a candy store that was asked to run it. You never let a kid run a candy store. You know what I'm saying? You can have him enjoy it. He could run around and, taste the candies and have a good time. Maybe even buy a few. He could probably even bring his friends in to enjoy it with him. But you don't give a kid the keys to run a candy store. And why don't you do that? Because if you give a kid that type of access, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And not only that, he's going to have people around him who he doesn't even know can do the honors, run the joint. He's a kid. Tony Khan is a kid in a candy store that's running the candy store. Not only that, he's let the wrestlers trick him into thinking that they know best. It's been from the very beginning. Let's go, Qwan. What you got?
Do they not know best?
Look, I'm not a guy that's going to say that you can't do more than one thing. You can be very multifaceted. But at the end of the day, man, wrestlers are wrestlers. Same way that artists are artists. A lot of artists aren't good at running labels. They're not. I'm an artist. I would like to think that I'm very good at taking care of my business and doing what I like to do. But I don't know what it's like to run a label and have 5 artists sign to me. You know what I mean? I don't know what that's like. But a lot of artists have done it, and they've notoriously been okay at it, but not great. You hear it all the time. The artist is, I'm not getting enough attention. He's always touring. He's on this rollout. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's on Friday. It's just like, you hear the stories. And when I look at Tony Khan from the very beginning, he made wrestlers EVPs. I'm sorry, and I like the Elite, but it was the worst mistake. It's the worst mistake because there's no differentiation between the person who's running the company and the people who are performing in it. And you naturally have a bias towards how you think things are when you're a performer. And we've seen it. We've seen it play out with the Elite. We've seen it play out with MJF. We've seen it play out with CM Punk. And when we get to CM Punk, I like to call Tony Khan a drug addict. He's a drug addict that's smoking on the CM pack of life. And it's unfortunate.
CM pack? Oh my God.
Look, I love CM Punk, man. We were all together when CM Punk debuted at All Elite Wrestling, or Asylum Entertainment Wrestling at this point. We were all there with this guy. And we were like, it's been 7 years. It's been a long time. We know who CM Punk is. We know he's he can stand up for what he believes in. But we were very excited about this guy. And within a year, we've seen this guy crash out. He crashed out on multiple occasions. Now, in my opinion, the right thing for Tony Khan to do is to say, you know what? This guy went live, aired out business that wasn't supposed to be aired out. This isn't the first or the second or the third problem I've had with him. We got to figure out how we're going to maneuver this championship. This is messing up business. It's not worth the risk. Let's just cut our losses and keep it pushing.
Wait. Hold up.
Yeah.
Are you saying Tony Khan should drop CM Punk?
I'm not. I'm saying
Okay,
Tony
I was about to
Khan
say, bro.
should have.
Goddamn mind.
He should have dropped CM Punk, but he didn't. Now,
After-
CM Punk wasn't dropped. He wasn't dropped at all. He was brought back, and not only brought back, but given his own show. After all of that, he was rewarded. He was rewarded for his efforts. He was rewarded for going out there on a medium scrum, airing out his own company, shooting on half the locker room, getting in a fight with a dog damn near, getting suspended, getting injured, and he got rewarded. He was given more. They were like, you know what, Punk, you know what we're gonna do, dog? We're gonna give you your own show. How about that? You know, after messing up so bad, bro, we're gonna give you your own 2-hour show, and we're gonna let you rock. We're gonna separate you from the elite. We're gonna let you have creative influence. We're gonna give you the keys. We're gonna give you more responsibility. Maybe that's the trick. And it's been 4 weeks, my guy. And here we are with the biggest pay-per-view all in. And we're 80,000 tickets sold, bro. And we're not talking about it. You know what we're talking about? CM Punk being Suge Knight in 1995. We're talking about CM Punk being Drake in Toronto, God. Being Chubbs, and taking people out because, yo, we don't rock with you. I didn't like what you said. Tony Khan, you are a drug addict. You need help. You need to go to rehab for your CM Pack addiction. You can't let him go. It's not worth it. The investment has not yielded the results. Nearly. I love CM Punk. I love him. But what are we doing? No, we're not talking about All In. We're not talking about it. The whole wrestling week has been about your investment that you've quadrupled down on, who can't seem to keep his feelings together, who can't seem to express himself in a way that can be conducive to business, who can't seem to think about something outside of himself. Think about something outside of you, bro. Think about the company that pays you. It's not all about you. But you know what, Tony Khan?
It's his company.
But you know what? No, I'm talking about CM Punk. Oh. But you know what, Tony Khan? I don't blame you because you're a fan. You're a kid in a candy store who's running the candy store. And quite honestly, how would you know how to run anything? You wouldn't, because you're just a fan. And fans have to be more than fans. Fans have to grow up and be harsh business people.
So cool.
Bro, you fumbled Cody Rhodes. I don't think people talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. You fumbled Cody Rhodes. You fumbled him. You said he wasn't as big of a star or as necessary as the rest of your roster. You fumbled him. How dare you? And that for a CM Punk, for what? And here we are. Here we are with your crown jewel of a pay-per-view, and we don't care. With your 80,000 people sold at Wembley Stadium.
Okay, so I wouldn't
blasting
say that
out
80 people,
80,000
people are coming. That doesn't mean that nobody cares. Clearly,
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I'm running it back. You're running it back. You know, and we're not talking about it. 80,000 people at Wembley. We're not talking about it. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about your addiction. Your addiction of a product to CM Punk. If I were you, I would cut my losses, my brother. But you're not going to. No. And you're going to suffer. And we're going to suffer because of it. Thank you very much. You keep letting wrestlers run the asylum if you want, brother. But you got to stop being a fan. And you got to start being a businessman.
It's cool. You think you're saying he's a fan too?
He's a fan. If I am a fan of basketball, right? And I grew up to be a coach. I'm the youngest coach, 30 years old, youngest coach. And I'm coaching Ja Morant or Jason Tatum. You think I'm going to let him do what he want? I'm going to let him do what he want. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's how it goes. Tony Khan is a fan from day one. We've been knowing this. So it's like, what are we talking about?
I just don't see the issue with that. Like, what's wrong with Tony Khan being passionate about the business that he's in? What's
CM
wrong
Punk.
with him being a fan of the business that he's in? Would y'all rather some suit from Disney purchase AEW and run the show? Of course not. You want someone that's actually passionate about the wrestling business to run the show. So I don't see how that's an issue. Now, CM Punk has his problems. We all know that CM Punk has his problems. But the return is worth the investment. This is CM Punk.
No, it's not.
This is, like I said, this is not Darby Allin. This is not The Miz. This is CM Punk.
What makes it worth it?
It's CM Punk, bro. Do you know how much merchandise CM Punk is selling?
I don't. I really don't.
Bro.
I'm just saying, I don't know how much he's selling.
He's the biggest star in AEW.
Literally, CM Punk's merchandise transcends pro wrestling. I be seeing people walking around with them Chicago CM Punk X shirts. They don't even know what wrestling is, but the shirt looked dope, so they bought it. Like,
so the merch alone is enough to keep CM Punk around.
Yeah, if you're making money off his back, then why not keep him around? Who's the alternative? If not CM Punk, then who? They're not gonna go out and get Roman Reigns.
They need to get somebody.
They're not gonna go out and get Seth Rollins. The best choice for them is CM Punk. So let's get that straight. Now, another thing you said.
But is it the best choice though?
Yes.
But why?
If it's not, give me an alternative. Who should they push as their flagship star? If not
I'm not disagreeing that CM Punk isn't the biggest star on AEW. I'm just like, I don't know if he's the answer anymore. I don't know anymore, man. Like,
give me an alternative though. If it's not CM Punk, then who?
I truly don't have an alternative. I can't
exactly.
But so but that's what I'm saying though. Is like, bro, just because like it's like smoking crack. You know what I mean? Like, what's the alternative that's not smoking crack? To smoking crack, right? It's not smoking crack.
Compare CM Punk to smoking crack.
Yes.
80s
I
drug.
think Tony Khan is smoking crack.
Oh my
with
God.
CM Punk. I do. I think he can't let him go, bro. I think he needs CM Punk for his heart, and I just don't see why. I don't see why he's so important outside of the fact that he is CM Punk.
If I had Drake in my pro wrestling company, I'm not letting him go either. I'm just saying.
I don't know if Drake is CM Punk,
I'm saying,
man. Like Drake's not
Drake
CM
is on
Punk.
my label. I'm doing all I can.
Drake's not CM Punk,
AEW.
bro. Collision is like just did 700,000 on its best week. Like, we're not
on a Saturday night.
On a Saturday
night,
number
one for the night. So
I mean, that's great. That's great.
Let's tell the whole story. Don't just tell half truths out here. Don't do that on this podcast. This is not. Right. It's not a tribal podcast. We're not gonna do that.
So even with you saying that, though, it's like they were doing all right without him. Like, it wasn't like I don't see the vast difference of Punk being around outside the fact that he is CM Punk. I think Collision is a great show, but like, it's not as. We're not dealing with someone who is, in my opinion, worth the trouble. Like, it's great, but it's not worth the trouble to me. I feel like there's just trouble all the time. This guy is not making the company look great.
I just want to address something that you said about Tony Khan. First, you mentioned something about wrestlers being wrestlers and not supposed to be running the show or whatever.
I didn't say that.
Who's your favorite creative right now? Aren't you a Triple H fan?
I said, yeah, I love Triple H.
Oh yeah, what was Triple H doing before he was in head of creative?
He was wrestling. I didn't say wrestlers shouldn't be running the show. I didn't say he shouldn't be running the show.
And let's talk about since we want to paint this picture of CM Punk just being Debo backstage and bullying Tony Khan to keeping him around. Let's talk about Brock Lesnar. Do y'all remember who Brock Lesnar was supposed to face in the fall of 2017? He was the world champion at the time. Oh, you don't remember? I'll remind you. His name was Jinder Mahal.
Whoa.
What did Brock Lesnar do?
He said no.
He said, "No, I ain't wrestling Jinder Mahal. Beat it." You know what they did? They had Jinder Mahal drop the world championship to AJ Styles so that Brock Lesnar can get his championship match against AJ.
Absolutely.
Brock said, I'm not wrestling against Jinder Mahal. Was Vince McMahon, who was running the show at the time, was he a drug addict to Brock Lesnar because he let Brock Lesnar call his own shots? Like, this has been a part of the wrestling business.
Has Brock Lesnar done nearly as much crazy antics as CM Punk has? Like,
Brock
what are we talking
Lesnar
about?
elbowed Randy Orton in the ring and bust his head open on purpose, and then got into a fight in the locker room with Chris Jericho. So this is not unique.
He be having a lot of antics backstage.
Bro, we're talking about two different things. What CM Punk did was air out Tony Khan for his own decisions. You understand that? You understand that CM Punk sat down next to his boss and said, "Your EVPs suck and they don't know how to do their job." That's a whole different caliber than a wrestler acting out and getting too aggressive. That's expected. What CM Punk did was literally undermine Tony Khan in front of him, like right next to him. What are we talking? That's like if Triple H sat right next to Vince McMahon and was like, and then we got butt kissers like freaking such and such that work directly for Vince McMahon, Pritchard or whatever, that work directly for Vince McMahon. and Vince was just sitting there like, oh, you just gonna call the people that I hired and made EVPs like incomparable? You're just gonna make me look bad? You're gonna make my whole company look terrible? That's a different status than a wrestler like Brock Lesnar knocking over somebody in the head and getting into it with another wrestler. That's a different thing.
All I'm saying is these backstage politics and this drama this has been a part of, like, we weren't born yesterday, Sylvan. Come on now. This has been a part of the wrestling business forever. Like, we saw Hulk Hogan running amok in WCW back in the day. Yeah. We all remember the Bret Hart and the HBK of the 90s. Like, come on, man. This is nothing new.
But we know.
Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of a live show that they were advertised to wrestle in. Like, what are we talking about? You're acting like this is all exclusive to AEW and Tony Khan.
But we know what CM Punk is about, and that's my problem. This isn't a one-off incident. These people that you're talking about have had maybe 1, 2, 3 incidents. CM Punk this is probably his 25th. It's maybe his 30th.
Cool, you hear this, man?
Bro,
Hulk Hogan had 1, 2, 3 incidents.
I didn't say Hulk Hogan.
Oh my
I'm talking Hulk Hogan is a completely different. I'm not going to talk about Hulk Hogan right now.
We're not gonna
like that's a whole different. That is the most like. I'm not talking about Hulk Hogan, but when we talk about CM Punk, man,
I'm
like
talking about backstage politics, man.
This isn't just backstage politics, man. Like, nobody has done what CM Punk has done on AEW in that medium scrum, bro. We got to keep it a bean. Nobody has ever done anything like that. Nobody has ever sat next to. Nobody's ever done anything like that, bro. And the crazy part is we've heard and seen CM Punk do so much before that. Like, at a certain point, you get rewarded for this material. I'm not blaming CM Punk. I'm blaming your Candyman. I'm blaming Tony Khan.
The thing is, I know how y'all feel.
So it's basically on him. I said that earlier.
But I've seen how you and Cooley actually feel about this CM Punk situation, because when that media scrum happened, we all agreed with CM Punk. We didn't agree about the way he went about it. We didn't agree with him turning into Charleston White and airing out the whole locker room. But we agreed with everything he was saying. So, like, don't cap. Don't sit here and cap for the cameras now.
I'm not
agree with a lot of what CM Punk does.
I'm not capping. I agree with CM Punk in a lot of facets. I don't want to sit here. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to
running a show like it was
absolutely
and not a nationally televised show.
Absolutely. Like, let's be clear. Wrestling community, I agree with CM Punk. Like, let's not get it twisted. But where I defer is that I'm about business first. And regardless of how you feel, bro, you have to be able to conduct business and think outside of yourself. I don't care what happens in the back. I don't care what goes on. You can't make your company look bad if you're working for it and you're getting paid. You figure out how to settle it behind the scenes. You go about it a certain way. You don't go on TV and humiliate literally your boss in front of him after winning the chip and getting injured, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to go off TV regardless. It wasn't like, oh, you just blacked out. Like, nah, you were injured, bro. Like, you were injured for a second time after winning the chip. This is number 2, bro. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about at this point? I just feel like, yo, you've been injured twice. Every time you got your chip, you had to sit down. You had to run it back. And now you get your own show and you're acting out and you're taking away from the the real attention of the biggest pay-per-view of your company. Once again, you can't think outside of yourself, bro. And you know what? I know that this is who CM Punk is, but unfortunately, Tony Khan is addicted to it. So he's just gonna keep letting CM Punk pull up and run amok and do his thing until he's just not valuable to him anymore. And it's unfortunate.
I think Punk is just very passionate about his job and how he feel, and whatever is on his mind, he's gonna just blurt it out. He's literally Tupac in the 90s, you know.
Tupac
my
got
God!
Shot,
come on, man.
That's what happened.
Come on.
Got shot.
God.
Yeah, the nigga dead.
Yo.
Rest in peace, Tupac. This nigga was stomping out Crips in Vegas and got his ass capped.
All right,
that's what happens when you get passionate. That's what happens when you get passionate, my nigga. I'm just saying. Where's the accountability for Tony Khan and CM Punk?
Hey, at the end of the day, as long as CM Punk makes sense for business and he's making a return on the investment, unfortunately, for better or for worse, Tony Khan is going to keep him around. Like, at the end of the day, we have to remember, we're talking about a 5-year-old company that's about to have, some people are calling the biggest pay-per-view of all time as far as the audience size. I know WrestleMania 3 claims to have had like over 100,000 fans, but that number was capped. We all know the true number was about 79.
Yeah, 79. Yeah,
70 something. So this is, by a lot of people's metric, the biggest wrestling show of all time, and it's not a WWE show; it's an AEW show.
Yeah,
5-year-old company.
Crazy.
CM Punk played a huge part in that. So, like I said, until the return on the investment doesn't make sense, CM Punk is he here. He here. So y'all better get used to these backstage stories. Y'all better get used to people getting ran down on and hemmed up by their shirts and told to leave the locker room, because it's not going to change.
I can get used to it. I don't know if Tony Khan can. Tony Khan better get used to it. I'm just a spectator. We're just spectators. We're just people who watch the show. We're just reporting the news. But we don't have to get used to it. Tony Khan does.
So my last question before we get out of the Tony Khan CM Punk business. I'm opposed to Cooley. Cooley. If you Tony Khan, what do you do? Do you cut CM Punk?
If I was Vince McMahon in 92, 93, 94, would I cut Shawn Michaels for all the stuff that he caused backstage? I am not cutting Punk. Top merch seller.
Y'all are crazy.
Right below, what is it, Bullet Club, Orange Cassidy? All them guys. Like, come on now. What are we talking about?
I think it's orange.
He top, right?
Y'all
I am not cutting Punk. Look at entertainers / entertainment's job is to get people to talk. And what are we doing? We're talking about it. And we are 9 days away. 9 days away from All In. You know what can happen in 9 days? We're talking about it. We're building it up. So,
Cooley, let me ask you a question, brother. Let's say you running a company, right?
Here we go.
Let's say you running a company let's say you running a wrestling company. You know what I mean? You happen to shine. Let's say you're running a wrestling company called WWE in 1992, 1993. You know what I mean? With Shawn Michaels being your main staple. Let's say Shawn Michaels gets on television, in a little post medium, and it's just like, yo, man, everybody that this man just hired right now, they suck. They don't know how to do their jobs. They don't know how to move. They don't know how to do anything. They're immature. They can't do their job. He just got injured for the second time. After you gave him a first chance at getting the title, after a year being in the company. He got the title. You gave him the title again, and he got injured again. And he did this. You going to hire him?
How many times it takes?
You don't keep him on the company?
How many times does it take to strike out a baseball player?
A baseball?
Oh, strikes, you're out. Hey, he on two.
Right, guys.
He's on two.
All right.
He's on two. I'm not letting Shawn Michaels go. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm not letting Shawn Michaels go, man. I'm
not letting him go.
I'm sorry.
Look, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm not letting go nobody. Look, if I'm Jerry Krause in 1996, right? Michael Jordan says, "Yo, you're a terrible GM. You're a terrible GM. I want you out of here." And he has a gambling problem on the side. You think I'm letting go Michael Jordan?
No.
Hell no.
Michael Jordan.
I'm winning that championship,
Jordan, bro.
You can talk all the shit you want. As long as you winning me chips, you on my team.
Michael Jordan ain't no CM Punk, man. Let's give it a bean.
This is business. This is business at the end of the day. The only color we know is green.
It's cool, man, because, give it another year, man. We'll be right back here. Honestly, give it 6 months, and we're going to be right back here. And y'all just going to be telling me, like, y'all going to be like,
he
yo.
Said 6 months. This is CM Punk we talking about. I'll give us 2 weeks, and we're going to be right back here. Like, y'all heard what CM Punk did backstage at All In?